There comes a moment in every human life when the noise of the world grows quiet. Not because the world stops speaking, but because something deeper begins to awaken inside you. A question. Not shouted, not dramatic, just persistent. Is this really who I am, or just who I have accepted myself to be? Most people never ask that question seriously. They wake, they scroll, they work, they complain, they sleep, repeating yesterday until years disappear unnoticed. They blame circumstance, luck, the economy, their past, their parents, their timing. They wait for opportunity like passengers waiting for a delayed train that was never scheduled to arrive. But history tells a different story. Every great transformation, every empire built, every invention born, every impossible dream realized began the same way. A human being decided to believe differently. Before the world saw light bulbs, one man saw illumination in his mind. Before automobiles filled the streets, someone imagined motion where others saw impossibility. Before freedom reshaped nations, leaders believed in realities no one else could yet see. Nothing external changed first. Belief changed first. Because belief is not passive hope. Belief is creative power. You are not shaped primarily by your environment. You are shaped by the meaning you assign to it. Two people can walk the same road. One sees obstacles, the other sees training. One sees rejection, the other sees refinement. One sees failure, the other sees feedback. The difference is invisible. The difference is belief. Your mind is not a mirror reflecting life. Your mind is a lens creating life. And whether you realize it or not, every thought you repeat becomes an instruction. Every emotion you rehearse becomes a direction. Every assumption you accept becomes architecture for your future. You do not get what you want consistently. You get what you believe you are worthy of. Look carefully at your life, not with judgment, but with honesty. Your income, your confidence, your relationships, your courage, your discipline, all of them are echoes of internal agreements you made long ago, many without awareness. Somewhere along the way, you accepted definitions. I'm not lucky. I'm not talented. People like me don't succeed. It's too late. I'm not ready. And once believed, those ideas quietly began organizing your actions. You hesitated where boldness was required. You settled where growth demanded discomfort. You stopped where persistence would have created breakthrough. Belief became behavior. Behavior became results. Results reinforced belief. A perfect loop. Most people attempt to change results without changing identity. They chase motivation instead of transformation. They try harder for a few weeks, then fall back into familiar patterns because the subconscious mind always protects the identity it recognizes. If you believe you're average, you will sabotage extraordinary outcomes. If you believe struggle defines you, you will unconsciously recreate struggle. If you believe success belongs to others, you will stand outside opportunity even when the door is open. This is why true success begins in silence, long before applause, money, or recognition. It begins when a person dares to rewrite the story they tell themselves. The world teaches you to manage circumstances. Rare wisdom teaches you to command your mind. Your thoughts are seeds. Every day you plant thousands of them. Some grow into confidence, others grow into fear. Some produce wealth, others produce limitation. The soil does not judge the seed. It multiplies whatever's planted repeatedly. Your subconscious mind works the same way. It does not argue. It does not analyze morality. It obeys repetition. Tell yourself often enough that you are powerless, and your brain will search endlessly for evidence. Tell yourself you are capable, and suddenly you notice opportunities that were always present but previously invisible. Nothing mystical, nothing magical. Attention follows belief, and attention directs action. The greatest discovery you can make is this: you are not imprisoned by reality, you are guided by perception. The moment belief changes, behavior shifts effortlessly. Discipline stops feeling like punishment. Growth stops feeling frightening. Challenges stop feeling personal.
You begin acting not from fear of failure, but from certainty of becoming. This is why some people rise from poverty to influence nations, while others remain trapped despite talent and resources. The external world responds differently to those who internally decide, "I will become more." Belief is a decision repeated until it becomes identity, and identity is destiny. Right now, whether you recognize it or not, you are standing at the invisible border between who you have been and who you could become. Most people wait for permission to cross that border. They wait for confidence before action, clarity before movement, guarantees before commitment. But confidence does not come first. Decision comes first. You must believe before evidence appears. The farmer plants before harvest exists. The architect draws before the building stands. The visionary commits before certainty arrives. Faith, in its purest form, is disciplined imagination. To believe is to see the future so clearly in your mind that your present behavior begins aligning with it automatically. And the moment that alignment begins, your life starts changing from the inside out. Not loudly, not instantly, but irreversibly. Because once a person understands they can own their mind, they can no longer live as a victim of circumstance. They become the author, and authors do not wait for stories to happen. They write them. The moment you accept responsibility for your inner world, excuses lose their strength. Blame becomes unnecessary. Complaints feel heavy, almost foreign. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "Who must I become because this is happening?" That question changes everything. Most people attempt to control outcomes. Few learn to control identity. Yet identity is the silent engine behind every outcome ever achieved. A person who sees themselves as disciplined wakes differently. A person who sees themselves as resilient interprets hardship differently. A person who believes they are destined to grow walks into uncertainty with curiosity instead of fear. Your external life expands only to the degree your internal self-image allows. This is why visualization is not fantasy, it is preparation. Every great creator has practiced seeing before possessing. Long before success became visible, they rehearsed it mentally. They trained their nervous system to recognize a future version of themselves. They imagined conversations they had not yet experienced, victories not yet achieved, and contributions not yet realized. When others doubted, they visualized. When others hesitated, they prepared internally. Your brain cannot fully distinguish between vividly imagined experience and physical reality. When you repeatedly picture yourself acting with confidence, solving problems, leading, building, creating, you begin rewiring emotional responses. Fear loses authority. Possibility gains familiarity. You stop feeling like an imposter in your own potential, and suddenly, action feels natural. Clarity emerges not from thinking endlessly, but from committing deeply. Many people search for purpose as if it were hidden somewhere outside them, a perfect opportunity waiting to be discovered. But purpose is not found, it is constructed through devotion. Purpose grows where attention and effort meet meaning. The industrial giants of history did not begin with certainty, they began with obsession. They chose a direction and allowed persistence to refine it. One built steel because he believed industry could reshape civilization. Another experimented thousands of times because he believed failure was merely information. Another dreamed of worlds that existed only in imagination until millions could walk inside them. They were not protected from doubt. They were governed by vision. Vision is belief extended into the future. Without vision, discipline feels painful. With vision, discipline becomes devotion. You wake earlier not because you must, but because something inside you refuses mediocrity. You study longer not because someone demands it, but because growth becomes identity. The disciplined person is not someone who forces effort constantly. The disciplined person is someone whose beliefs make effort inevitable. When you truly believe your future matters, distraction loses its appeal. You begin guarding your attention like treasure. You understand that energy spent comparing yourself to others drains the power required to build yourself. Envy dissolves because you recognize that every life unfolds according to internal alignment, not external competition. Focus becomes freedom.
The modern world profits from scattered minds. Notifications, endless opinions, constant entertainment, all designed to fracture attention. A distracted mind cannot build greatness. A divided focus produces diluted results. But when belief sharpens direction, concentration returns. You start finishing what you begin. You start honoring commitments made privately. You become trustworthy, first to yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence is not loud. It is quiet certainty born from kept promises. Each time you do what you said you would do, your mind records evidence. I am reliable. I follow through. I grow. This evidence compounds. Small victories accumulate until identity shifts. The person who once doubted their discipline becomes someone others admire for consistency. The person who feared failure becomes someone energized by challenge. Not because circumstances became easier, but because belief became stronger than discomfort. Understand this deeply. Pain is inevitable, but meaning transforms pain into power. Every setback contains instruction. Every rejection carries redirection. Every delay builds endurance. History remembers individuals who refused to interpret adversity as defeat. A young lawyer failed repeatedly before leading a divided nation through its darkest hour. An inventor faced thousands of unsuccessful attempts before illuminating the modern world. An entrepreneur went bankrupt before redefining entire industries. They were not immune to struggle. They were committed to interpretation. They believed obstacles were part of destiny rather than proof against it. Your resilience depends less on what happens and more on what you decide events mean. When failure becomes feedback, fear loses its grip. You begin experimenting boldly. You risk intelligently. You grow continuously. And growth changes perception of time. Most people seek immediate reward. They abandon goals when results delay. But the master understands that transformation is compound interest applied to character. Daily effort may appear insignificant, yet months of consistency reshape capability, reputation, and opportunity. Patience becomes strength. You stop chasing shortcuts because you recognize that shortcuts bypass growth. You embrace the process, knowing that who you become while pursuing success matters more than success itself. Because wealth without self-mastery creates chaos. Achievement without inner stability collapses under pressure. True success is harmony between external accomplishment and internal command. Owning your mind means governing emotions rather than suppressing them. Fear still appears, but it no longer decides your direction. Doubt whispers, but it no longer controls your actions. Anxiety arises, but it becomes energy redirected toward preparation. You become adaptive. Adaptability is the signature of powerful belief. When circumstances change, you evolve instead of resisting reality. Like water finding new pathways, you maintain momentum regardless of obstacles. Rigid thinkers break. Adaptive thinkers rise. Gratitude begins playing an unexpected role in this transformation. Not shallow gratitude forced through denial of struggle, but deep recognition that every experience contributes to expansion. Gratitude stabilizes ambition. It reminds you that growth does not require dissatisfaction with the present, only commitment to improvement. You learn to appreciate progress while pursuing greatness. This balance creates emotional endurance. Burnout fades because motivation no longer depends on external validation. Applause becomes optional. Recognition becomes secondary. The work itself becomes rewarding because it aligns with who you believe yourself to be. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your life begins attracting different opportunities. Not through luck, through alignment. People respond differently to certainty.
Doors open to those who radiate purpose. Collaboration finds individuals who demonstrate commitment. Resources flow toward clarity because clarity signals readiness. The world mirrors conviction. You realize success was never hiding from you. You were simply becoming the version of yourself capable of receiving it. And as this awareness deepens, a powerful truth emerges. Owning your mind is not a single decision. It is a daily practice, a moment-to-moment choice. Every morning you decide what thoughts deserve attention. Every challenge invites interpretation. Every action reinforces identity. You are constantly voting for the person you are becoming, and the votes accumulate. Soon, the old version of you feels unfamiliar, the one who doubted, hesitated, or waited. You begin trusting intuition strengthened by discipline. You take responsibility for direction instead of drifting through circumstance. You stop asking whether success is possible. You start asking how much you are willing to grow to meet it. Because belief is not about wishing for a different life. Belief is about becoming a different person. And once that transformation begins, momentum builds in ways that feel almost unstoppable.